The idea of boondocking in an RV, especially one that's not set up with solar panels and off-grid capacity, can be really intimidating. And if you're in the eastern US like we are, it can seem like there's nowhere to boondock even if you wanted to. After having our RV for a year and a half, we are preparing to do our first night of boondocking in the Cherokee National Forest here in Tennessee. I'm going to share with you how we're getting ready to boondock so that we can feel prepared for anything, we can be safe, and we can have fun. I will make a link to a Google Drive checklist with all of the things that we're doing to prepare for boondocking, and I'll put it in the video description so you can reference it if you're preparing to take your RV boondocking. So the first thing we need to be concerned about when we're preparing to go boondocking is we need to understand what rules, laws, and regulations govern our ability to disperse camp in a specific place. We're planning on staying in Cherokee National Forest, so we'll be concerned with federal law, Tennessee state law, and the rules and regulations put in place by the National Forest Service, which is under the authority of the USDA or the US Department of Agriculture. There are different rule sets for different types of public land. We also have TVA or Tennessee Valley Authority land here in Tennessee, and as you go out west you find a lot of BLM or Bureau of Land Management land that has tons of opportunity for dispersed camping. You can also boondock in some public places, like Walmart or Cracker Barrel parking lots, depending on the specific store. But there are plenty of stories of campers who have received the knock on their door late at night or early in the morning as they're being asked to move from a spot where they're not legally parked and allowed to camp. The next big topic related to safety and boondocking is providing for your food and water needs. A general rule of thumb for dry camping is that you should bring at least 3 liters of water for each person per day. A lot of people like us have a freshwater or potable water tank in their RV that they'll fill up either before they leave or at the last pit stop before they get to their campsite. It's also important to know how much capacity your gray and black tanks have. It doesn't matter how much fresh water you have in your tank if you're not going to be able to use it through your system and drain it properly. Because we're comfortable drinking out of our RV water system, and you should be too. If you want to look at one of my recent videos, I show you how to flush and sanitize your water systems. But because we drink out of our water system, we'll typically fill up a few water bottles of drinking water for the trip, but we'll have plenty of fresh water for an overnight in our tank if we fill up before we get to our campsite. There are lots of ways to approach prepping food for boondocking. Some people only bring shelf-stable items that don't require refrigeration or to stay at a certain temperature in a cooler. Some people only want to prepare food over a fire, which limits their options, and some people have enough battery or solar power to run their appliances without concern. We plan on using our propane system to power our refrigerator so that we can keep food cool. We also have the propane stove as a backup option for cooking, but we do plan on making dinner over the campfire. Okay, so we're in my kitchen now. We are going to make some pumpkin overnight oats for this trip. So as far as dinner goes, initial plan was to do baked potatoes on fire. The downside to that is I'm not 100% sure we'll have a fire ring where we end up. And the other downside to that is I pulled the bag of potatoes out of the pantry and they had turned and that was a whole big mess. So in terms of potatoes, we have no potatoes. So we have a backup plan. We've got some vegan sausages that could be made over the fire or in a pan if we need to. We're gonna bring along stuff to have a big old salad with dinner. And Old Faithful, we're gonna bring some baked beans. So we have breakfast squared away, we have dinner squared away. We will bring a couple of snacks along the way. I have tea and sweet tea for us to drink, but that gets our food situation completely under control for boondocking. Alright, generator started up without too much of a fuss. Lights are working, which means our power system's on. I am going to run our air conditioner off of the generator for a few minutes just to make sure it's blowing cold air. And I'm going to let the generator keep running while we check the propane. Systems inside look good, the generator's running just fine, the air conditioner's blowing cold air, we have plenty of propane. The awning came out as expected with no rips this season, which is good news. Last year after we let it set for a little bit, a piece of the vinyl flap at the end of the awning was starting to tear. We repaired it with vinyl glue and haven't had any problems out of it since. Part of boondocking usually includes being in the middle of nowhere, and the last thing that you want to do in the middle of nowhere is have your truck break down on you. So before we head out to the wilderness, I am going to check oil, fluid levels, and we're going to have Derek check the tires and air pressure after work. Okay, coolant looks good for cold level, brake fluid looks good, power steering fluid looks good. I'm not going to worry about the washer fluid because we filled it up a couple trips ago, and if you run out, it's not the end of the world, and fluid checks look good. This RV is a little bit chaos right now, so I'm going to take the next couple of minutes and try to just get everything in here in order. Okay, so here's your reminder that it's okay to ask for help with things, and if your partner usually does stuff like carry laundry baskets in and out of the RV because you have a bad knee and struggle with stuff like that, then it's okay to just wait for them to get home from work. Because I'll tell you one thing, I was very, very careful to place my knee straight down and not twist my knee, and I didn't hurt my knee. So yeah, laundry basket got carried in. Not my best day ever, not my worst day ever, but I think I'm going to go drink some water and put my feet up. Hold a dog, pet a dog. Let's go pet a dog.
6.5 hours later.
guys, I know this video is a little bit chaotic, but I do think it's important to be transparent about what kind of effort goes into getting your RV ready to go do something for the weekend, especially something that seems a little bit intimidating like boondocking that maybe you've never done before, because there's a first time for everything, and at a certain point you just gotta go do it. So I hope that this has been helpful in some way to you. Even if you don't have solar panels and a full off-grid capacity, you can dry camp in an RV. So thank you for sticking around through this video. I do hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions or comments or sassy little remarks, please feel free to leave them in the comments. It is great hearing from you guys, and it means a lot to me when you take the time. The next video will be our actual boondocking adventure, and I'm so excited to share that with you. So keep a lookout, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.
Next time on Hell's Kitchen.
We drove around on potholes for an hour. Our steering stabilizer fell off. We broke off the little hat that goes on the exhaust for the bathroom. We did not find a boondocking campsite.